Welcome to Toastmaster Time.
The show that's got everybody talking.
I'm Justin Paras.
And I'm Shruti Verma.
And we're excited to be your hosts for tonight's episode.
On this show, we celebrate public speaking and effective communication, skills that help us grow in life and build meaningful connections.
Since 1924, Toastmasters International has helped millions of individuals to become stronger communicators through regular practice and evaluation in fun and supportive clubs all over the globe.
And just like in a regular Toastmasters club meeting, we have prepared speeches and evaluations lined up for you.
We are delighted to have Clark Taylor, who is the president of the Union City Toastmasters Club, as our evaluator here tonight. Clark, welcome to Toastmaster Time. Please share with our audience what's in store for tonight's show.
Thank you, Justin. I'm excited for this show tonight. We have two members from Union City Toastmasters. They will be speaking on a wide variety of topics, one for those thrill seekers out there and one for those that's looking for a little inner peace and getting back on track. Back to you, Justin.
Our first speaker tonight, as Clark mentioned, is also from the Union City Toastmasters Club. Actually, all our guests today are from the same club. We love that they took advantage of the carpool situation, so we welcome them here. So Sabrina Mahajan, she's working on the dynamic leadership pathway. If you're not sure what pathways are, Sabrina is actually going to be talking about what pathways are as part of her speech. She's working on a level 5 project in this pathway, and the objective is for her to reflect on her path. She's going to talk about an experience she had preparing for and climbing Mount Kilimanjaro and how this dynamic leadership pathway that she's working on had an impact on that expedition. Please join me in welcoming Sabrina Mahajan, Mount Kilimanjaro and I. Mount Kilimanjaro and I, Sabrina Mahajan.
Thank you, Clark, for that introduction. Thank you, Justin. Greetings, everyone. Today, I'm real excited to talk about dynamic leadership, reflection on this pathway. I'm going to tell you the 3 things I learned and how it changed me. Before I do that, I want to tell you at Toastmasters, we offer a variety of pathways to hone your public speaking skills. Of that, I chose dynamic leadership. Before I begin, I have a confession to make. You see, I'm an introvert person. I would rather read a book, hide behind it, than stand in front of public, project my voice to inspire people, to motivate them. I always wanted to learn to do that. The reason I enrolled in this pathway. Now, the very first thing I learned that leadership is a journey that begins within ourselves. To lead others, first you have to learn and prepare yourself. Let me give you an example from my own life. As some of you may know, last year my husband and I trekked the tallest mountain in the world. At 19,000 feet, also referred as Roof of Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro is the tallest free-standing mountain in the world. We prepared for this hike months before. Every weekend, my friends and I went on this hike back to back, 8 to 10 miles, just to prepare our muscle memory. We changed our diet for high protein and low carb just to build strength and endurance for the hike. And also, most important, we practice breathing exercises. You see, in Bay Area where I live, our lungs are pampered by the oxygen-rich air. Over there, above 15,000 feet, only 20% of the oxygen is available. To sustain ourselves, we did these breathing exercises. All our talk, our activities, everything was geared towards this hike. However, leadership is not always a smooth sailing. This brings me to the next thing that I learned: adaptability. Dynamic leadership taught me to learn to be adaptable, adapt to the situation. Just few weeks before the hike, all our friends had to drop out. Some of them had work deadlines, some of them had some kind of personal health crisis, and some had to attend to family emergencies. In the end, it was just my husband and I. We really thought about it. Do we have to do that? Well, both of us above 60, age was not on our side. Every year we postponed this monumental hike. It was going to get harder and harder, so we decided to do it anyway. We reached Kilimanjaro airport, and guess what? Our bags were lost. We were there to do that monumental hike without our trekking gear, without our trekking shoes, trekking pole, the right gear, the right jacket for the summit day push. We didn't give up. I looked for shops that would rent me the trekking gear. I got it, and there we were. Thank goodness, luckily the airline delivered our bags the next day, and we were all set. We had chosen the Marango route. It was a 6 days, 5 night, the most challenging hike. We did it anyway. We went through lush green rainforest. On the 3rd day, we reached the alpine desert. The soft sand stretched all the way to the horizon. We saw these tall pineapple-shaped trees. The landscape looked like a scene from a sci-fi movie. It was amazing. It was surreal. We met fellow trekkers descending from their way. Some of them were super happy they had made it to the summit. Some of them couldn't make it because of altitude sickness. But still they were happy. We all shared a common passion for hiking. We all had reference to the summit. We wanted to do it. Finally, I reached the most challenging part of the summit day push. Considering our pace, our guide advised us to start 2 hours prior to than we had planned, and we did. We started our journey in the darkness of the night at 10 p.m., guided by the headlights, the narrow path. The star-lit equator skies was our witness. The cool air descending from the last standing glacier on Mount Kilimanjaro crater had made the whole atmosphere divine. It was surreal, total darkness. We walked 1 step ahead. However, altitude had taken toll on me. Even though I was following the mountain mantra, pole pole. It's a Swahili word. It means watch your pace, go very slow. I was doing that, but still my legs felt so heavy. I felt that's it. And for the first time, I wondered, why am I doing this? I took a deep breath. I realized still I could think clearly. I have no headache. I'm breathing. My vision is clear. I focused on those positive moments. And I continued. I felt a connection with the mountain. I realized I'm doing it because I could. And that brings me to the third thing I learned from the dynamic leadership pathway, that it is not the destination, but it's the journey. It's the transformation that happens within you. When I reached the summit at Gilman Point, I was mesmerized with what laid ahead. The last standing glacier on the mountain top, it glistened in the light. I was humbled by the surreal beauty, gratitude. My fellow Toastmaster, this Kilimanjaro hike, I feel, is a true reflection on the dynamic leadership pathway. It really helped me. I gained the confidence, build the grit. My fellow Toastmaster, I encourage you, if you haven't, reach within yourself to find the leader to make your dream hike. Thank you so much. Back to you, Justin.
Thank you, Sabrina, for that very inspiring speech. And what you should know at home is that Sabrina could be the oldest Asian Indian woman to reach the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. The trek organizer is working on getting the world record certificate. So what an amazing achievement, Sabrina, and congratulations again. At this point, I'm going to pass control over to my co-host, Shruti, who's going to interview Sabrina so we can learn more information about her. Shruti, over to you.
Welcome to Toastmaster Time, Sabrina.
Thank you, Shruti, my pleasure.
First of all, congratulations on this incredible achievement.
Thank you. Toastmaster Dynamic Leadership helped me partly, I should say.
Well, we are very proud of you. So, how long have you been a Toastmaster?
You know, I joined Toastmaster during COVID time. I always wanted to, however, I didn't have the bandwidth. But during COVID, when everything went hybrid on Zoom, I said, hey, now is the time, I should do it. And here I am.
Awesome. You know, even I joined during COVID time, so we have something in common.
Absolutely.
And what motivated you to join Toastmasters?
You know, everything about Toastmaster, your table topic, the impromptu speaking, I think it brings out, it hones your skill.
Yes.
Every
yes.
single thing.
Yeah. Speaking off the cuff is challenging for many people. So Toastmasters is such a great program where you get to practice in a safe environment.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that. And what is the most valuable skill you've learned in Toastmasters?
Well, I have gained confidence in public speaking, how not to use that ums and ahs that you emphasize on, clarity, organizing my thoughts. So the list goes on and on and on.
Amazing. And if someone is on the fence, still undecided, what would you tell them to join Toastmasters?
I would say don't think, go ahead and join. This is the best gift you will be giving yourself. So go ahead and join it.
I love that. Best gift you'll be giving yourself. Well, Sabrina, thank you so much for sharing your experience and your journey with us.
Thank you for having me.
Back to you, Justin.
Thank you, Shruti and Sabrina, for that fun and engaging interview. And Shruti, we'll hear more from you later on after our second speaker. Toastmasters believes in the power of feedback. American author Ken Blanchard said that feedback is the breakfast of champions. We like to give each other as much feedback as possible, and we like to do it in a way that is positive, constructive, and overall encouraging. So at this point, I'm going to welcome back our evaluator, Clark, to share feedback on Sabrina's speech. Clark, over to you.
Thank you, Justin. Sabrina, wow. I felt like I never wanted to hike a mountain like Kilimanjaro like this ever before. The scene, the story, the perseverance, showing up on the first day where all your friends that you were preparing and planning with had quit, but you decided to move on and keep going. And not only that, you get there, your luggage is not there, and what else could go wrong? What else could go wrong? But you decided to push on. It felt like I was rooting for the underdog. We all like that classic story of perseverance and a touch of leadership where we all like that classic story with the touch, we all like that classic story of perseverance with a touch of leadership where the person that we thought was not ever going to make it actually makes it. What an inspiring story. Very relatable, the outdoors. I like the outdoors myself, but I cannot say I've ever climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. What a feat. If I had a suggestion, I like the way the story flowed. Overall, really great. Maybe bring the vocal variety a little higher and then a little lower to draw in the audience. If now that I've heard the story, it's definitely on my bucket list, and it's amazing that through all that you went through, that you were able to push through and really show that leadership and perseverance in the moment. Back to you, Justin.
Thank you so much, Clark, for that evaluation. For viewers at home, Clark employed the sandwich technique, which is a technique we are big fans of in Toastmasters. He started with positive feedback that was specific. Then he shared some constructive feedback so Sabrina knows what she should work on. And then he wrapped up with more positive feedback to leave the evaluation on a very encouraging note. Thank you again, Clark, and we'll hear more from you after our second speaker. At this point, I'm delighted to introduce Midji Rovetta, who again is a club member alongside Clark and Sabrina at Union City Toastmasters. She's working on the Motivational Strategies pathway. In this pathway, you get to learn how to build strong connections with the people, how to understand what motivates others, and how to lead small groups successfully. Midji's working on level 3 within this pathway, and her objective is to inspire her audience. Today, she's going to talk about how in life, we may at times miss a turn or take the wrong turn, but then she's going to talk about how we can get back on track. Please join me in welcoming Midji Rovetta. Return and reconcile, Midji Rovetta.
Oops, I missed a turn. And the GPS started blaring, recalculating. And it shows us the next route, how to get to the original destination. Thank you, Justin, fellow Toastmasters and guests. About 10 years ago, I was driving in LA with my daughter. That particular day, we would like to visit the Hollywood sign up in the hill a little bit closer. So I punched my GPS because I want to make sure that I won't get lost in LA. But yet, I missed a turn. And the GPS showed us to take the next exit. And as we drive to the exit ramp, I noticed the road is getting narrower and narrower. At some point, I realized that the road is only 1.5 of the width of my rental car. And the road started winding. And I saw the wall next to the road up high on my right side and up high on my left side. There's a little window and door in some places, and no sidewalk on both sides of the street. So I clenched my steering wheel and I pray, please, I hope there is no car coming on the opposite direction. Those drive is probably about 15 minutes. But for me at the time, it felt like eternity. Well, in life, we may miss a lot of turn. We may make a lot of wrong turn, like me. Most people will stop and return to the right path. But several people may enjoy the wrong turn and get lost in the wilderness. In this current world, people ask who you are to decide what is right and wrong, who to decide good and bad. How about your truth and my truth? Well, let me tell you something. Each one of us in this room, we are equipped with life GPS since we were born. Life GPS is our consciousness, or our conscience. It's an awareness of what is right, what is good, what is wrong, and what is bad. If you recall when you were only 5 or 6 years old, or maybe if you observe children about that age, you will see how they are very well connected with their conscience. For instance, if your mom told you, do not eat cookies before dinner, and yet you still take a couple of cookies, and if your mom found out, you say, I'm sorry, or you said, this my brother or sister did that. Why you did that? Because you know that it is wrong. All kids say as is. When my daughter was only 2.5 years old, we were waiting in the cashier's line in grocery store. And my daughter focused in one young boy next to the cashier who helped putting grocery into the customer's bag. He has a bright red hair. And as we get close to the cashier, she just smiled and blurted out to that young man and said, you look like Ronald McDonald. And I was like, oh, but I heard everyone around us laugh. And I said, phew, kid has no filter. So, but how come when we segue into our adulthood, we forgot about that? We got confused. So how we reconnect with our conscience? So I would like to share my personal experience. In the Catholic tradition, there is a Lenten season that has been observed in the last 1,500 years. There is 40 days before Easter where we do mainly do a conscience examination by praying, meditating, fasting, and almsgiving. And eventually we reconcile with ourselves, with the people around us, especially those that you haven't talked for years. And ultimately, we reconcile with the source of life, which is God. Because each one of us, I bet, we're yearning to have a joyful and meaningful life, to do the right thing, to go in the right path, because at the end, we all come back to the source of life, which is God. So, the next time you miss a turn in life, you make a wrong turn, remember, pause, reconcile, and return to the right way. Back 10 years ago in LA, we arrived in our destination safe and sound because we follow our GPS. Back to you, Justin.
Thank you, Midji, for that very insightful and thought-provoking speech. We here at Toastmaster Time TV, we love to get to know our guests outside of the speeches they deliver. So I'm going to pass it back over to our co-host Shruti once again so we can learn more about Midji. Shruti, over to you.
Welcome to Toastmaster Time, Midji.
Thank you, Shruti.
What a wonderful speech. Your speech reminded me of my own time when I got lost in Atlanta some 23 years back. It's a great reminder that sometimes literally, sometimes metaphorically, we get lost, but we eventually find the way.
Correct, yes.
So how long have you been a Toastmaster?
I joined Toastmaster probably about 12 years ago. My husband told me to join Toastmasters at that time because I was looking forward to retrain my public speaking skills.
Okay.
And my first icebreaker, it was only 2 minutes. And I was shaking already. And I realized at that point, public speaking is like a muscle. You have to train that. Because a few years before I joined Toastmaster, I have a job which is required me to speak to a group of people, up to 200 people. But after dormant a few years, look at, I realized in Toastmaster, first icebreaker, I was shaking already. So I think we have to keep training in public speaking.
Thank you for pointing that out. Public speaking is like a muscle, and the more you practice, the better you get at it.
Yes.
Well, so how has being a Toastmasters for the last 12 years helped you in your professional and personal life?
I feel more in a professional life because as a content, I have to speak to my client, I have to explain my thought process, and I have to explain things in a business meeting and also just a business social event. So that's really helpful because I learn how to organize my thought, and I learn how to evaluate, how to learn to read the cue from other people, when to use my vocabulary. Yeah.
Wonderful. So what I'm hearing you say is that it has helped you show up more confidently at work.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow. If someone is on the fence and deciding if they want to join Toastmasters or not, what would you tell them?
Just join tonight. I think that's a good. I think this is in the social media era. I think it's good. Toastmasters provide the human communication, which is nowadays is less and less people do that. Everybody just send text message, right? So I think with Toastmasters you learn about this not just public speaking, but you also listening. You also do evaluation. You do thinking on your feet or table topic, and then learn how to do your body language or just vocabulary. And on top of that, it's affordable. So it's a good deal.
There you go. It's affordable and it's for everyone. Well, thank you so much, Midji. Do you have any next milestones in Toastmaster that you want to achieve?
I'm currently working in motivational pathway, and because I would like to learn how to be a motivational speaker. Yeah, and then that's in line with my passion right now because I'm teaching golf club for the youth for youth leadership and public speaking.
Okay.
And in fact, in the next Saturday, we will have our business showcase for third year in a row.
Wonderful.
And Saturday, May 16th from 12 to 3 p.m. Anybody interested can let me know. It will be in Fremont.
All right. Well, we wish you all the very best for your next milestone.
Thank you, Shruti.
Back to you, Justin.
Thank you, Shruti and Midji, for that great interview. I felt like it was a little Toastmaster commercial in there. And Midji had a great analogy of how working on your public speaking skills is like working out your muscles. And we go to the gym to work out our muscles. To work out your public speaking skills, we recommend you check out one of our 14,000 Toastmaster clubs all over the world and see for yourself the benefits of joining this great organization. You can go to toastmasters.org and visit the Find a Club link to find the clubs that are near you. So at this point, I'm delighted once again to welcome Clark back to the stage to provide Midji with an evaluation. Clark, over to you.
Thanks, Justin. Midji, what a relevant topic. We've all been there. We're lost. We lost our way. The panic sets in, and we get that feeling of angst and worry. But you reminded us, let all that noise and all that worry quiet itself down. We can hear that conscience, that internal GPS that helps guide our way. It's hard to delineate between what's real and not real in this day and age. The news can give you some information and you're not quite sure what to believe. Myself, I like to tune that out, do a little bit of prayer and meditation to really listen to that quiet voice inside of us all. Whoever you think your creator is, we're all endowed with it. We have that low voice inside our head, and if we just take the time to listen, we'll be able to connect with it and try to find the truth and find out what to do is right. Great story. I like that you brought your daughter on a trip. You were going to an iconic Hollywood sign, and everyone's been there. I would have liked to see a little more emphasis on the angst and the worry, and then the transition to maybe like a deep breath where you're clearing your thoughts and you're waiting to hear that voice. So maybe just a little pause at the end when the room goes quiet. But I really did like the ending where you did return, reconcile, and listen to that internal GPS. Back to you, Justin.
Thank you so much, Clark, for that evaluation. For viewers at home, as you saw Clark, he gave the evaluation pretty much right after Midji's speech, and that's not easy to do. But in order to do that, you learn skills at Toastmasters which will equip you with the skills necessary so you can perform just as he did in providing a very positive, constructive, and overall encouraging evaluation. So Clark, thank you so much for that. Unfortunately, that's all the time we've got for tonight's episode. I want to thank you so much at home for watching. I know you want to view more episodes. To view past episodes of our show, you can check us out at our YouTube channel down below.
Toastmaster Time is sponsored by District 57 Toastmasters. For more information, please visit our website at d57tm.org.
And for general information on Toastmasters, including where you can find a club near you, more information on the various pathways that are available to you, and free public speaking tips, make sure to check out Toastmasters.org.
We'd like to thank our wonderful speakers, Sabrina and Midji, for their inspiring speeches, and our evaluator for today, Clark, for giving us some valuable feedback.
And we can't end the show without thanking our wonderful staff and all the volunteers here at the Mid-Penn Media Center. Without your expertise, without your care, and without your generosity, this show would not have been possible. So thank you so much.
From all of us at Toastmaster Time, keep speaking, keep growing, and let your voice be heard. That's it for tonight. See you next time.